Hello everyone, how are you doing? Now I want you to think about the last time that you maybe went on a date or you met up with some friends, family, and you arrived late as hell. And you had to make up the most creative excuses as to why you were tardy. Isn't it funny how people get really creative when they explain why they're late? You had to make up some excuse when deep down we all know that you were in the shower 5 minutes before the meeting time blowing bubbles from your shoulder. We all know. I've been there. I want to talk about being organized, and I want to also give some quick tips as to how you can improve on this skill, because a lot of people think that some people are organized and some they're just not, and they're a lost cause. This is far from the case. I was very disorganized. I was a very disorganized dude. I was just a fumble. I was a big fumble. And I got my shit together. And I wanted to share my experience and, what led me to that. So stay watching, or if you're just listening, just put your feet up and just vibe with me for a minute. Growing up as a kid, organized is really not something you would associate with me. I grew up pretty pampered. I grew up with my family, I was very well looked after. Any planning that needed to be done, my family, they'd take care of it. My friends would take care of it. I would just sit back, relax, and just, let the good times roll. Life was good. Up until I got sent to boarding school. That's when shit got real. In boarding school, you pretty much have to look after yourself. No one to iron your clothes, no one organizing your books, telling you when to study, no one helping you to take care of money. Sure, you have departments that help with that sort of thing, but ultimately you have to have your shit together. There is a point to this story, guys, bear with me. After my first year of boarding school, I had completely finished all my money. I had lost so many of my clothes. I had no clothes left. They were somewhere, I don't know. I had no books, no pens. I had nothing left. Literally nothing. Needless to say, my family, my friends, they weren't impressed. My teachers, they just weren't impressed with me. I would turn up to class with no shoes on because I'd lost my shoes. I couldn't find them, but I had to get to class. So I'll just go there with no shoes on. That's how bad it was. It's kind of at that low point in my life, that extremely low point, that I realized, okay, I need to get my shit together because it's just not working out. I was probably 15 or 16 years old. And yeah, that, at that age, you could say that as a young teen, you're kind of meant to be disorganized. You're kind of meant to just be a bit carefree and not fully have your shit together. I disagree. I think if you're 15, 16, you should have a level of maturity and a level of organizational skill. So because of that embarrassment that I went through, I kind of just made a vow to myself. I will never, ever, ever let that happen to me again. I made a promise to myself. Then began my organized journey. My journey to learn how to be more organized. I was very meticulous. I made sure I thought everything through, everything. Maybe I thought things through a little too much at first. I made sure I thought about anything and everything. If I make plans, I'd make sure I leave early to get there on time, whether it be class or meeting up with some school friends or just anything like that. I'd make sure I leave early to get there on time. If I had a test coming up, I'd make sure I gave myself enough time to study. So we would always have study periods every day, every evening, but I would make sure that I would give myself extra time to study. So instead of coming to class at 7 p.m. to study for an hour, I'd get there at 6:30 if I knew I had a test coming up. This would give me the best chance to ensure I get better scores. I would have all my books and all my stationery. I would have them all organized we had little trunks in our dormitories where we put all our stuff, and they had locks, So I would make sure everything was organized where it should be. So I didn't lose books, I didn't lose pens, I didn't lose any of that stuff that was very important. Study books, I lost all that stuff within my first year. My second year, I made sure everything was supremely organized in my trunk, and I knew exactly how to access them. All my clothes, everything was where it needed to be, and I could just access them whenever I needed. No issues. Needless to say, my second year of boarding school was a complete upgrade from my first year. I made more friends that way. I was a lot more cheerful that way. I was a lot happier because I wasn't a complete mess. I had everything I needed. So people would sometimes come and ask me, for help in, sort of arranging certain things because they keep losing shit. So that was the first time I actually felt it was very useful. What I was doing was quite useful, and I could actually help other people become that way too. I drilled this into my mind, and it really became second nature. Throughout life, we're gonna come across many, many challenges. How we tackle those challenges defines who we are as a person, as a man or a woman, or whatever you identify yourself as. However we tackle those challenges identifies who we are. Now, automating certain aspects of your life really allows your mind to breathe. And it allows you to just be happier and be more in control of your environment, of your immediate environment. It makes you more in control of your life in general. It just makes you calmer, cooler, and most importantly, reliable. Reliability is the most important factor in this, because if you're disorganized, your chances are you're not going to be the most reliable person. And if you are organized, if you work in the skill, you're going to be reliable, and people are going to count on you more, and people are going to think, this person, they're never late, they always come prepared, they always have, they always study, they have everything prepared because they put the work in and they put the effort in to ensure they are in control of their destiny, basically. Now, I want you guys to be reliable. If you guys are suffering from a lack of organizational skill, and you find yourself late and you find yourself missing stuff all the time, this is something that you need to work on. So I want you guys to be as reliable as possible. So I want to give you 3 quick skills. There are many tips I can give you, but I want to give you 3 quick ones that will get you on the path to achieving this. It's a journey, but these 3 quick tips will get you started on that journey. Number 1, get your priorities in order. It's difficult being organized for something that you generally don't have an interest in or a passion for. But things you do care for, like your job, your family, friends, your girlfriend, boyfriend, these things should usually take priority over other things. So if you're always turning up late for work, or you're turning up late to visit your mom or dad, or your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your friend, your close friends, if you're always turning up late to meet them, and you're always missing stuff that you should be bringing along to these occasions, it doesn't really leave a good impression. You have to figure out exactly what your life's priorities are. If they are your friends, your family, your job, you need to ensure that is really marked into your brain, that these people are a priority in my life. And whatever we plan and whatever comes to plan with these people, it's my responsibility to get to those people on time, and to whatever promises I give them, it's my responsibility to ensure those promises are made. So that's number 1, get your priorities in order. Number 2, break your work into little steps. One thing I like to do is place a piece of paper or a planner somewhere around the house I walk past quite often. It could be your fridge, or it could be right in front of the front door. It could be your bedroom. Anywhere that you kind of just frequently walk by during the day when you're at home. Write down those important tasks that you need to accomplish, whether it be reading a certain book, or buying a certain thing that you need for the house, or buying a birthday present for someone, cooking a special meal for someone in the upcoming days, learning how to do something. Just little tasks that are a priority in your immediate life, or maybe in the near future. Just write down these things somewhere that you see them all the time. So whenever you walk past this piece of paper or this planner, you kind of etch these tasks into your mind, because you kind of always see them. They're not things that you just forget. That you just see them all the time. And you can also do this on your phone. You can, most smartphones have a little planner, a little notepad, and you can just, do the same thing. And you can set an alarm or set a reminder for, maybe every day. And number 3, make schedules and deadlines. Now this links to the second step, the second tip. Give everything a deadline. If you've made plans to meet up with someone at, let's say, 3 p.m., give yourself a deadline to get there before 2:55 p.m. So you have enough time and you're there early. Do this with every single one of your priority tasks. Give yourself a deadline. When people think of deadlines, they think of, a test that's coming up, or leave the workplace. I don't know. Make sure you give yourself a deadline. That's the most important thing. Give yourself a deadline so that there is a certain amount of pressure when it comes to fulfilling a task. So if you don't have a deadline, if you leave some things open-ended, what can happen is you deprioritize this task, and it becomes a lesser task to you. So by giving it a deadline, you kind of ensure there is a certain amount of pressure, and you have to accomplish a certain thing before a certain time, or else there'll be some sort of consequence. And usually the consequence is you let someone down, you let yourself down. That's just the way it is. So give yourself a deadline for most of the tasks you want to accomplish. Now, try these 3 things in the next month or the next 2 months or so. It will need some self-motivation on your part, but I believe in you. I hope this has been helpful. I just wanted to share my life experience of being disorganized, and 3 of the quick little things that helped me get along in my journey to being more organized and just being a more reliable person. Now I'm 31. I am a little bit more financially stable. I'm very meticulous. So, I'm very clean. I'm very tidy. I try my best to be on time 99.99% of the time, which I usually am. And it's worked out for me, and I'm sure it will work out for you. So guys, thank you for watching. Leaving a like, a comment, and subscribing really does help out the channel, and it allows me to create more content like this, because I just love doing this. I love vibing, I love creating, and I love kind of interacting with everyone across the internet, and I want us to just create a vibe and just hang out together, man. So leave a like, leave a comment, discuss, let me know of certain experiences that you've had where you were incredibly late. No matter how embarrassing it may be, let's talk about it, and let's help each other be as organized and as reliable as we can be. Thanks for watching again, and see you guys next time. Peace.